Hello, online community of people.
I thought social media might give us the day off this morning. Yesterday, I thought, oh, we might have the day off tomorrow.
Right. But we're back because it's back. So welcome to the show. Today, we are going to go over why being part of or having or being meshed into a community for the things that you do is so beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. And it is a little bit of, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Like for me, like being part of a community, then going it alone, right? Then coming back to a community because I'm like, you go through this thing where for me and you both, we're like, we don't want to work with people anymore, but you still have to work with people in a different way though.
Right.
When you're all working towards the same goal, right? You're not in competition with each other. What you do is complementary. You're encouraging each other. Yep. Some people know things that others don't, and vice versa. And you have all these things that are happening. And it's not just about, oh, I follow this mentor, right? I mean, because, we have mentors and everything, but we also have communities in everything. In fact, that is my mentor who does a show at the exact same time we do our show. Sacrilege. I have to watch him after his stuff is done.
Exactly.
Oops. That's because this is a good time of day to do it, right? So that's why it's at the same time. But yeah, and speaking of that, that's a marketing community, right? So like I would come into like my crypto community and expect everybody to have a bunch of answer my marketing questions or network with me with marketing questions, or I wouldn't go into my marketing community and ask them a bunch of cryptocurrency questions. They're gonna be like, what? Right?
Exactly.
So it's the community is really, really important. And getting into, a group of people who are thinking the same way you are, and also like just again trying to move in the same direction and having the same struggles and the same challenges. It's great to all win together, but it's also more important to have groups of people that you work with who are having some of the same challenges, because then you can have that mastermind. And maybe Christina, like you can talk a little bit about why it's important to have a mastermind.
Yeah. So like one of the biggest benefits that I found in anything that I do, doing it as a team is always more successful. Right. And being inside of that team dynamic, that group dynamic, you guys learn lessons together, which means you cut the learning curve a little bit. You get a chance to, I didn't even know what phone that was. That scared me. You get a chance to bounce ideas off of other like-minded individuals. You get a chance to open up the dialogue and have those conversations and walk through thought processes with other people who have the same goal in mind. So instead of trying to have to figure out a lot of stuff on your own, you have that like, it's not quite a herd mentality, but you have that mentality where all of you are moving together in the same direction, and you have a support system of people who genuinely want to see you win because you guys are doing the same things. So you remember, what was it, last week? We talked about your family not supporting you, your friends not supporting you. And we talked about surrounding yourself with a group of people who do. This inside of my family still to this day, half of them, more than half of them think I'm nuts because I walked away from a job that was paying me comfortably and started doing everything that I'm doing now. Right. So that's not encouraging. That's very discouraging. It can stop you from getting the momentum that you need to see your success. You start second guessing those thought processes. But when you're inside of a community like this, you get those confirmations of, yes, I'm on the right track. Or, you know what? I didn't know about that. Let me try it. Right. You start seeing success faster because you're surrounded by people who genuinely want to see you win, and they are going to help facilitate that thought process. That's all. That's it. In a nutshell.
Yeah. And can you see me? Because you were like freezing up, and I don't know if it's because my computer's freezing up or if you're freezing up.
Nope, I can see you.
Okay. Because you're freezing up. I get the,
I'm closing down a whole
So,
bunch of
okay.
windows.
So we're silly guys, so just don't mind us. All right. So, yeah, I think especially, I think it's true across the board that you should want to have a community, a mentor and a community of people that you're working with in whatever it is that you're focused on, right? But also what Christina's saying about friends and family, even if they're people who just don't really say anything or they don't get you. Nobody gets me in my circle. Like people in my family and friends that I love to death don't really know me that well. They think they do, but they really don't. And so when you have this group of people and you're having that day where Uncle Dave is like telling you for the umpteenth zillion time, how stupid you are for starting a new side business.
Right.
You can just say, you know what? I have this group of people I work with who are, I have a mentor who's successful, and I have a group of people, we're all doing this together. And they told me there was going to be some people that, were kind of jerks and gave me a hard time. But you know what, Uncle Dave, I didn't think it was going to be you.
Yep.
Whoops. Right? Just like put him back in his place, right?
Yep.
So nobody cares what I do in my family. So it's not, I don't get any of that. They know Christy's going to be Christy and do what she wants. And,
Yep. That's exactly how my family is. Like, leave her alone. She ain't asking us for money. So whatever it is working. Like,
right.
She'll be fine.
As long as she's not trying to get me to do it, I'm good. Right.
Oh no, my cousins know better. So like, because we do mining stuff, I spent all day Saturday calling my cousins, asking them very weird questions. And then like, what's your address? Okay. Like it worked though. So like I have new people in there now that are all family. I'm like, yes, this is what I do. Do you see how simple that was? Yes. So like sometimes, ask at least once because some of them will be interested, but the ones that are not, your family, I learned the hard way. I have a family group with over 300 people in it. When I started my YouTube channel, my assumption, because I was assuming, and assuming is a bad word,
we all know what it does.
Right. And it did. I was definitely the definition of assume. Okay. I thought that I was going to have automatically 300 subscribers and probably 6 because everybody was going to share it with their friends. They didn't.
What? No.
Right. They didn't. A year later.
I don't believe it.
Exactly. Like a year later, 1,000 subscribers later, trying to grow through just being myself. I found people who like myself.
Right.
Yep. So do the things that you like, because like Christy was saying, Christy's family knows her as Christy. They don't know Christy Amber. My family knows me as Christina. They don't know Christy Pips.
Right. Exactly.
The personas that we have in our business are not far from ourselves, but we've surrounded ourselves with people who do what we do, who like what we like, and they understand us because we already have multiple things in common, right? You might be blood related to somebody, but that don't mean you got stuff in common. So
yeah, I find like, sometimes when you start growing as a person or when you have a different community, and it's not like a slight on anybody. Like my brother plays hockey. He's not going to talk. If he talks hockey to us, like me, I'm like, I don't know what the heck he's talking about. Because they're a whole hockey family, right? Which is awesome. For me, it's like I'm entrepreneurial. I like to talk about ideas a lot. And I don't only want to talk about politics, sports, the weather, how your pet is, or any of that stuff. Like that stuff is just not interesting to me, right? Like, and I used to watch football all the time and I don't anymore. So, can I hang? Sure. I can hang in almost any topic, even if I don't know what anything about the topic, that's a skill set. But I would rather, be chatting with Christina about, what we're doing to, improve our family's lives with the next thing that we're working on. Yeah. I would rather be talking about that. Right. And we talk about funny stuff inside
lots
our
of
mastermind, lots of funny, we get food pictures and everything else like that. Yep. Mostly from Christina.
I cook a lot. I just lost it. I had a thought. I just lost it because I was
We're
laughing.
digressing. People are probably listening to us like, why aren't they talking about this stuff? But the point
Okay.
is, we're still having a good time. We're still having fun. It's not like all business all the time, right?
I had a good thought. I got to get my pen and paper back out because I usually write them down.
Gotta have your little dump log sitting there.
Yeah, like as
Yep.
soon as it pops back up, I'm gonna bring it up because it was in line with what we were talking about. Oh my goodness, it slipped.
I want to go back to a second where she was talking, and this is not part of our topics for today, but I still want to slide it in here because what we do with placing cryptocurrency hotspots, the reason that she's able to go and talk to her friends and family, I have one in my mother-in-law's house, my husband's grandma's house, my daughter's house, when I don't normally really talk to friends and family about things that I'm doing, is because all we do is go over to their house and plug a hotspot in, and it makes money for them. Yeah. They don't have to do anything. So that can happen for you too. So a little shameless plug.
Right.
If you'd like a little box that you could just stick into your house, if you have a good location, we can tell you if you do or you don't. We can look at it. As Christina said, just message us, and then what's your address, right? Privately, so we can look at it. How to slide that in there, because that's why you're able to talk to people that you might not talk to about, like, say, affiliate marketing or trading,
Yep.
because we're just sliding little boxes into the house, and they kind of print money. It's kind of weird, but it's what happens.
It's one of those things where people would be surprised if they understood how simple stuff was sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's there. I'm not going to say there's free money out here, but when people say that the economy's bad and things like that, us on our team, we don't particularly believe that, because we actually find places where we get things called airdrops from cryptocurrency, and it's just from being involved. And you because you're an early adopter, because you use this exchange one time early on, you actually get the benefit of receiving some coins from a new project. And it didn't take but a few seconds of your time to do something that you were going to do anyway, right? And inside of us with trading, we do have residual income from that because other people are interested in learning. We've partnered with an education platform where they can learn. So that's residual income. Inside of even affiliate marketing, you're going to buy this product, or we found something that works for us and you want to know what it is. You're probably going to do it anyway. We're going to share it with you. And that's what happens inside of the community too. We find a lot of ideas that we share with one another, and residual just pops out. I don't know.
Money could pops out, and it wouldn't have happened without the community, because one person can't know everything.
Exactly. We keep each other very up to date like on stuff too. Oh, that's what it was. Like, I would much rather have a conversation with Christy about risk to reward stuff. A lot of our conversations inside of our community is very risk to reward oriented. And what I mean is, if I do this, what is that outcome going to be? Right. And it's just like you're weighing the balance scale of if, then, if, when, if, how, what, right? And I like having those conversations because for us in the communities that we're in, it's a lot of personal development or residual popping out of the end of those conversations. So, like she was saying, like I'm going to the Cincinnati Bengals football game. I don't watch football, but I bought a ticket, and I'm going to hang out with my family and probably be cold, and it'll be okay. But that's not to say like I'm going to be only talking about what I do at the football game. Like we have those switches we turn on and off, but what we would much rather do is have the conversations that are income generating. But the other day we talked about setting up your schedule and making sure that you're scheduling time for family as well, because that's important. Like, you don't want them to feel like you've come. Some of my cousins told me like I abandoned them. I didn't abandon y'all. I love y'all. Just plug in, like send me a message. I answer all day. But it's just sometimes we are in a headspace where our goals that we have personally, our financial goals and personal development goals, require us to be in more of those types of conversations. So we're not like forgetting the other communities that we have, the ones we grew up in and things like that. But I was looking at an interview with somebody the other day, and they were saying like they had to back out of their one of their high school chats because the conversation that was in there was very high school and they're adults. And they were like, why are we still talking about this? Right. So you outgrow some of the communities that you're in as well. And that's okay. Perfectly okay. We like that. It's growth.
Yeah. And like, you know, because I'm sure some family or friends might end up on this, listening to this. And when I was younger, I used to talk about my business all the time, like blah, blah, blah. I'm sure it was like, I'm so sick of hearing about Christy's network marketing company or whatever I was doing at the time. Right now, I don't really talk about it at all. People say, how's it going? It's going great. Because most of what I'm going to talk about isn't going to resonate in the conversation anyway. Right. Like Kurt was telling us he went over somebody's house, family, and he's talking, they're saying whatever, and he's saying whatever, his knowledge of something that's going on in the world. And they're looking at him sideways, like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
Because they don't have the same information. Like, and when you're looking at like what's going on in the world, economy wise, why are people super successful? Why are some people super successful during recessions? And some people are ultimate failures during booming economies, because it actually has nothing to do with how well you're going to do in your business, in your economy. The businesses that survive sometimes have to shift, right? Like during COVID, Walmart started, some of the Walmarts, not ours, but some of the Walmarts were letting people come and do drive-in movie theater out in the parking lot.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
Yeah. And there was like some of the comedians were doing that, or they would do their show and you could come listen in the car. This is called innovation. Yeah. Right. So, you know, that's when the communities come in handy, because we're having these conversations. And, you know, right now crypto is on its way up. And you know what? When it's going down and everyone's freaking out, we'll be making a ton of money trading it down, going down. Yep. Right. So if you're not in a community, you don't know how to do these things. You don't brainstorm. You don't get. I've been watching. I may do a TikTok about this, but like I'm today years old. I found out this. Well, this morning I learned 3 new things that I should be doing in my marketing, and I've been marketing for 20 years. Oh, wow. When I was today's years older.
I like those. Mm-hmm. Like the other thing is you're going to have something that you're passionate about that your family's not going to care about or even understand. Where can you nerd out at? Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's actually it right there.
Like Kurt does that to us. Our mentor does that to us all the time. The community that he surrounded himself in, when he's with his friends, they're like, meanwhile, we're sitting there like,
right.
Like eyeballs on the screen, because we're like, just,
we've been going for 2 hours, and he's like, okay, time to go. We're like, no,
like 2 more hours, please. Right. Because we found those communities where we're not nerds there. Other people are looking at the same thing. We can't scare people with the conversation, because they'll be able to engage in it with us. And we'll be able to bounce, like I said, those ideas and those thoughts and those questions off of each other. And you find yourself being in communities like that, and you find those communities being very solution oriented. Like,
oh, for sure.
We drop questions in chats, and 10 minutes later, if nobody knows, we're hopping on a Zoom trying to figure it out. And that, like she was saying, innovation and growth, that's what you want in your business and in your life. So if you're sitting stagnant in those same conversations, and those conversations are not filled with growth or anything like that, then surround yourself with the people, the communities, the conversations that you're going to grow in. Like all of us believe the same thing our mentor believes. We want to be the dumbest person in the room, because I come to take notes. I come to learn. Like that helps me grow. And having those dialogues and those conversations helps everybody. Like never, the other thing is too, never walk into one of these communities thinking that you don't have any value, that there's nothing that you could bring to the table. Once those dialogues open up and those conversations start happening, you're going to start to see where your information fits in. and how you can be valuable to the community. Don't walk into a community thinking that and hoping to get more than what you're going to give. It'll be a very lackluster experience for you. So just understand everybody has something. You're going to have something to chime in with that's going to help somebody else, because everybody's new at least once in their life at something, right? So just we're going to harp on community today, because community is what helped us get to where we are, or at least it's what helped me get here. Like, I love Christy, have never met her in person yet.
But we're going to Florida in December.
Yep. So that'll be like the first time I actually get to hug my Pip sister, and we've known each other for years.
It's weird, right? I mean, I think nowadays maybe that is happening more than it used to.
Yeah.
Because, COVID and, Pip gamers and all that kind of stuff. But it's weird. And
Scrabble people.
Right.
Have you seen like on social media, the Scrabble people that were paying? I love it. Like, never met each other, just played games for years. And then two people from two completely different walks of life get a chance to like hug or meet for the first time. And it's beautiful, because if they had seen each other in person before they played the game, they never would have spoke. I kind of love what's going on because of that.
It's pretty incredible. Like, especially when you look for what is happening that's positive in the world. There is so much, but the news and the media would never let you in on that part of it. They're just not, because it's not how you make, right. You don't make money off of people doing well.
And that's, to me, I don't like that the world feels like that, because I feel like if more people share good stories, positive, more restaurants would have more patrons, because you would have those good stories and those good experiences, right? More stores would have more customers, more products would come off the shelves. So everything would be doing better. It's like, you see Monsters, Inc.
Yeah. You watched it the other day. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know how they were saying like screams were like the bigger, and it was actually laughter. Like, that's how I feel. I'm the optimist. That's how I feel.
You will see. We do see the world according to ourselves. We think we see it as it is, but we don't see it as it is. We see it as like through our perception, through our glasses, and all our glasses kind of work differently depending on experiences and upbringing and opinions and, all kinds of stuff. So the world is this way. No, the world is that way through your lens, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So for sure. But yeah, I don't know what I would do without community. And then so you got the nerding out, you've got when one person is down and comes in and like everybody else is lifting them up, and vice versa. There's just so much of that. It's not just about like, let's make money, right?
Right. Because the amount, like, we have days where we go off on total tangents, and it's so fun. Like, if any of you guys are from the mastermind, y'all know foo-foo-less conversations are probably the funniest conversations that we've had inside of the mastermind. And we got on that Zoom to actually trade the London session, like at 2 a.m. Right? We stayed up from 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. joking while we were supposedly working and on the charts, right? But it was like the best of 6 hours of just laughing and fun, joking and learning all at the same time. So it's not all, communities are not one track. At least the communities that we're part of, they're not one track. Like, once we found out through the session that Kurt did, his class he did the other day, that there was a bunch of people in the chat that love video games. Had no idea. So now that we were in the community for trading and specifically for crypto, and we now have connected through that same platform, that same community for Forex, for just everything else with a chart on it, and for video games, which you wouldn't pop up in a conversation about building wealth and things like that.
Right.
So just finding your tribe is what it is, you know?
We talk about all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And it's okay to be goofy and nerdy in the group, like, I'm not going to probably have a Mandela effect conversation, at church, right? He'll look at you sideways.
Oh,
so
that conversation that ruined my life for like 2 weeks, by the way, because I was.
Did you go down the rabbit hole?
Yes. Look, if you guys have not looked up Mandela effects, do it. Kurt came over here and I had the kids over for Christmas and he was asking me like why I was ruining their lives because I was doing the cereal ones.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Look up Mandela effects. It's a rabbit hole. We're letting you know in advance. There's a warning right here somewhere. It's a rabbit hole. You're going to fall down and it's going to be funny and sad and scary. And then you're going to have more questions and answers, but you'll be fine.
Right. It'll be okay. That's all we're going to say because you're going to do your own research on that.
Right.
You can either buy into it or not buy into it, but it's still interesting and fun to look at.
Right. And just think about the collective mind when you go through that Mandela effect. Think about the collective mind.
Yeah.
Powerful.
For sure. Which one do you remember?
Right. Jesus.
All right. We're down the rabbit hole. So yeah. So this is what we do a lot of times. And even in the mastermind, like, are we working on ourselves and our trading or our marketing but we're also having fun because like, if you cannot have fun, you might as well just stay at the day job.
Yeah. Yep.
What's the point?
Yep.
For not having some enjoyment.
Exactly. Let me pull it up. I closed down everything because I think my internet was skipping. Do you have the doc up? What's on the doc for tomorrow?
No, tomorrow. Let's take a look. Let's spin the wheel.
Right.
No, we already talked about that. So let's talk about where somebody might want to start. Okay. As far as if they've not ever been experienced in Forex or if they just dabbled in it and they just never really did anything with it. If you're like the very newbie beginner, what should the starting place be?
So what to do when you're new if you want to get involved with Forex? That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Aside from that, make sure that you guys have already subscribed to the newsletter so that you don't miss out on some of the hints and tips that we drop outside of the podcast. And don't forget to go ahead and follow us on social media, share the content with your friends and family, especially the funny episodes like today.
Yes.
Somebody else is going to laugh with you, right? Share the content, share the love, and we'll see you guys here tomorrow at the same time, same place.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.